Hello, everyone. How are you? We still have about 3 minutes before we get started. Charlene, can you let me know if you can hear and see me? Great. Perfect. I see some people are joining in. Before we get started, can you just type in the chat how many of you in the field have already done a lunch and learn of some sort for any one of your practices? I'm just curious. Don't be shy. Yes, I know. We did one together, Charlene. Okay, we got about another minute. Always nice to see the same regulars on this call. And we welcome new folks too. We just had a great training in Cherry Hill. So we have a whole bunch of new NCs. And I'll be headed out to Florida on Thursday for that training as well. Should be a lot of fun. Hey Bob, how are you? Okay, so we'll go ahead and get started. Good afternoon, nutraMetrix. My name is Lexi Jalan Naraki, and today we are going to be talking about the why, the how, and the what of the Lunch and Learn. Okay? So the Lunch and Learn, I like to call the Lunch and Learn an implementation strategy. I kind of put it into that bucket. When we did a meet on a little bit ago where we talked about the patient tasting, I said that that was also an implementation strategy. So what you'll see when you attend your nutraMetrix training or as you watch these meet-ons is there's a lot of different implementation strategies that you can use out in the field. So it's kind of like another arrow in your quiver. So if you have, a whole bunch of different implementation strategies, and we always talk about having you customize different things, because it's not a one size fits all as you are beginning to learn or probably are already a seasoned NC and have learned that really each and every practice is going to require something different. So I like to say over and over again, this is why I present myself, I introduce myself to a health professional as doing customized wellness solutions because it's not going to be a one size fits all, but of the multiple implementation strategies, you can pull any one of those in to do a variety of things for your health professional account. So let's focus on the Lunch and Learn. Number one, why? Why would you want to have a Lunch and Learn? Okay, so the why really is obviously education. So it's education, but it's education as we're going to talk about, not just to the staff, but it's also to the health professional. You guys probably already know and are familiar with the fact that health professionals, especially if they're the more traditional kind of health professionals, they don't get any. I mean, I think one of the doctors I talked to said something like 4 or 8 hours of any type of, nutritional components in their class or natural alternatives. I mean, and if you're absent that day, you're out of luck. And it was interesting because when I was having a conversation with a group of doctors, we were kind of laughing about it. And the other doctor said, if that, I mean, sometimes you don't even get 4 to 8 hours. So, a lot of times they really don't have the information. Now, when you're dealing with more of, a CAM, a chiropractor, an acupuncturist, somebody who maybe has made their passion in learning more is more holistic, then they're going to have a better understanding of, what ingredients are and things like that. And I've told you from introducing myself and from these different meet-ons, you guys already know that I actually prefer to work with the traditional MDs rather than your holistic. So, a lot of NCs, when they get started in the field, they say, oh, I want to go for the chiropractor. I want to go because it's an easier kind of, I don't have to sell them on the concept of wellness. They already know that. And it's interesting because I prefer to go the other way around, not because I'm trying to find it harder for myself, but because I think it's actually more of a blank slate. Those doctors, if they're not going to be open to you, they're not going to be open to you early on in the process. But then once you get to the lunch and learn, the commonality is you have an account. The account is implemented. It's on. Okay. The lunch and learn will happen. The earliest that I recommend you do it is after the staff 1, 2, 3. So you set the account up, you do the staff 1, 2, 3, and then you've already created a proposal for a phase 1. We already have products, right? So you're going to look at what products you have. So maybe you have an OPC, maybe you have a curcumin, maybe you have a bromelain, whatever the products may be. And then what you can do is you can schedule. A lot of NCs say, okay, so I did the staff 1, 2, 3, got their products, hung their posters, trained the staff on using the back office. Now what? Every time you visit the account, you want to bring value. A lunch and learn is bringing value, okay? So that's why you would do it. It's going to be education, not only education in the concept. So for example, if we're talking about OPC3, when I say concept, the concept of antioxidants and why you would need them. But you're also going to do, the lunch and learn is going to be based on our product. So it's the ingredients. So if you're looking at an OPC3, the key ingredient or ingredients is going to be a pycnogenol and the discussion of flavonoids. Okay? So that's the why you would do one. So let's talk about the how and the what. I understand I don't have a medical degree. I don't even have a Bachelor of Science. I am not, holistic this. I'm not, I'm a social worker by profession. Then I went into software. So I'm not qualified to sit here and talk to my doctor about, pycnogenol and this, that, and the other. Okay? You don't need to be. We have this wonderful thing of recorded meet-ons from Dr. Deidre Mason. It's really a lot easier when you're doing a lunch and learn that it's doctor to doctor. No, we can't have the wonderful Dr. Deidre Mason available to talk to each doctor every time. We do have that process, of course, as you know, but not each time. So what I like to do, and if you're paying attention to the Facebook group, earlier in the week, I posted a list. I had to create that list for somebody else, and I figured we may as well go ahead and use it in the group of different links to meet-ons that you can use when you're going to do a lunch and learn. So the first thing you're going to determine is what's your topic, right? So today, right before this meet-on, I actually visited one of my own practices, and we picked a date for a lunch and learn for that practice. Okay, and I told the office manager to make sure that both doctors and all the staffs were available. Okay, I decided to go with a lunch and learn because I am having a problem. So I am trying to move past this hurdle of they do surgeries in their practice. They move 2 products very successfully, but they do surgeries in their practice. And we introduced the bromelain product in a phase 2, and they bought an inventory, and it hasn't gone anywhere. And so I had done a quick lunch and learn with one of the doctors, but it's clear to me that they do not understand the value of that product for repair, injury recovery, and surgeries, obviously, because they have no problems moving the 2 products that they move. So as an implementation strategy, I thought to myself, a lunch and learn. So how do I prepare for this? What are the steps? So number 1, identify your product, right? Number 2, go on meet-on. look for a video that Dr. Deidre Mason has done or may have done so that you can take it. She is really doing a great job with these Wellness Wednesdays. Sometimes you can't find these meet-ons on the nutraMetrix channel, and we are working to make sure that they're in the nutraMetrix and the health and nutrition, that they're, consolidated in one place. But if you can't find the meet-on you're looking for, go to the health and nutrition or go to Dr. Deidre Mason, look for her, and you'll be able to see them. Okay, so now you pick the meet-ons. What she's doing is she's doing these educational videos that are really short snippets. So they may be 12 minutes, 15 minutes, 20 minutes. Even if it's a 30-minute, it's okay. Okay, so now you have the video. Again, ideally it's between 15 minutes or so. So you pull the video. Then what's the next step that you're going to do? You're obviously going to have the patient protocol. You're obviously going to study the product. How do you study the product? You read. You read the benefits on our website. You read what it's used for. You look in your unfranchised media and you identify if there's a audio somewhere in there, okay? If we're using the example of bromelain, there's an audio there. Dr. Stan Pierce at one of the events talked about the products that are least used. And he has a whole 7 minutes where he talks about bromelain and why it's important. So you would study that, okay? Then what you would do is you would identify the key ingredients in the product. White willow bark in my example, of course the bromelain. And then you're going to go out and you're going to research it. Now, you've seen me, I'm constantly taking articles and I'm posting on the nutraMetrix group. And you probably say, where do you get those from? I go to www.pubmed.com. I like that resource. You type in what you're searching for. You could put surgery and bromelain or white willow bark, whatever, and you actually start fishing through the articles. And you have to take a little time to read the abstract or read. Just because you found this great article and the title says, bromelain, and its effectiveness in injury, doesn't mean anything. You have to skim it and definitely go to the conclusions. Because in your conclusions, it could say, after running these randomized trials, it is demonstrated that bromelain has absolutely no effect in the recovery. You're obviously not going to take an article that says that there's no key, difference or anything in what you're trying to do. You're not going to pick that article. And for the most part, you won't find that, but I have found 1 or 2 articles about different concepts or different nutrients where it's actually said, we find no significant difference. And so with regard to the articles, though, when you do find a few of the key ones, you want to go ahead and print out. I like to print out at least 1 or 2. Look in unfranchise.com under downloads. We have this beautiful 1-page infographics. Print something like that out. So come really armed with as much knowledge as you have in your head and the materials we have, because we have so many. I've just mentioned to you several places where you can go to get information about a particular product. Guess what's going to happen? When you do a lunch and learn on OPC3, okay, you're going to become really well versed in OPC3. So the next lunch and learn you do for a different practice on OPC3, you're going to reuse the material that you already used. You're going to pull the same meat on, or there could be a variety of them, and then you're going to pull the same patient protocol, the same science, and then go ahead and do that. The other thing I like to do is I like to bring the product in, okay? So if you are doing, obviously, a lunch and learn in omegas, you can bring the omega in. Obviously, they're not going to taste it, but you can go ahead and do that. We also have, just from, being out in the field, you guys have probably heard, and if you haven't, you need to go on YouTube and kind of check it out. But we have some experiments on certain things, like there's a calcium one with a light bulb out there. You don't have to do it, but if you want to, you can. It's an aha moment for the health professional. What the health professional is going to be more interested in is what Dr. Deidre Mason has to say, because she's a doctor and they can relate to her. And number 2, what the science has to say, and the patient protocols. And last but not least, the cost. The cost to the patient and obviously the features and the benefits. That's it. So when we look at time, you got a 15-minute meet on. You're going to talk about features and benefits, maybe 5 minutes, answer questions, give them the information. Now you're there about 20 minutes, 30 minutes tops. Depends on how long your video snippet is. Okay? So they've done the lunch and learn. They're eating their lunch. So the next question that comes up when I talk about a lunch and learn is the question is, well, do you bring lunch in for the staff? And the answer is no. You have to phrase it to the health professional of, it's going to be a lunch and learn. This is the time where everybody's going to have lunch. Please tell your staff to bring their own lunch. Now, some doctors will say, you know what? I'm going to buy lunch for the staff for the day. Oh, that's fantastic. Perfect. And they'll ask you if they want to buy your lunch. I never like to eat. I'm talking, right? So I'm like talking. So I usually don't eat. During a lunch and learn, I don't eat. I'll eat before the lunch and learn, or I'll eat after the lunch and learn, or maybe I'll have like a TLS shake in a smoothie, something like that, because I'm the one talking. So I don't like to eat when I talk. So that's really the why and the how of the lunch and learn. And we've also talked about the what. Now I want to add and I want to talk a little bit about the when. So when would you do a lunch and learn? So what I'm doing now for my new accounts is we got the account set up, implementation meeting, book the staff 1, 2, 3 at the implementation meeting. I do the staff 1, 2, 3. Now everybody knows how to use the staff back office. All of the products are in. Then I'll start a lunch and learn, maybe once every month, or you could do once every 2 weeks in the beginning. Once every month I think is enough. Once every month on the new products. So if in your phase 1 you had the curcumin, the OPC, a B complex, whatever it may be, you would do a lunch and learn on each one of those products. What you're going to notice is that when you do the lunch and learns, the sales of the product will increase. Okay, a lot of times it's really just because they assume, like a B complex is one that a lot of times they assume, oh, it's for energy, but they just assume it's just for energy. So I didn't say it's just for energy, but they just assume, oh, it's just for energy. And then maybe you're talking, you do the lunch and learn, and they learn that has neurological effects and stress and and all that, and then they're like, oh, okay. Or the other thing that you can also do is in Unfranchise we have the patient protocols. Actually, they're called the health professional protocols, where they're the actual protocols of like we have one for ADHD, I believe we have one for diabetes, and it talks about a variety of different products. So if your practice is using a few of those products, it would not be a bad idea to print that protocol out, give it to the health professional, and then talk to them about that. The health professionals also in their back office, if they are an HP and they have a license, in their back office and unfranchised, they have the clinical reference guides that Dr. Deidre Mason created about 6 months ago or so. Those are fantastic too, because those are the ones that are like physician's desk references. If we're talking about the pharmaceutical world, where it talks about, here's a disease, here's how you would manage it type of thing. And so it's not available to you and I because we need to be DSHEA compliant. We're not doctors, right? We know that a nutraceutical supports proper brain activity or cognitive health. It supports something. But on these clinical reference guides, she actually wrote certain doses, like 2 capsules of this and 3 capsules of this, and she aligned it to certain things. That's something that you can instruct the health professional that it's available, and they'll say, where? Oh, come on, doctor, let's go to your desk, let's have you log into your account, and then you can go ahead and take a look at it. Okay, that can be also at the end of your lunch and learn, or just even an implementation strategy. As you have a new account and you're teaching them how to place orders in Unfranchise, they can learn where some of these important tools are that have been made specifically for them. Okay, so I've really just talked about all the things I wanted to cover for a lunch and learn today. I think that when you go out there and you actually start to do these, you're going to find what flows better for you. I decided to start this format of the meet-ons because I was not a pharma rep in my past life or anything like that. I know that that's Sarah was more, but I've been around my doctors enough where pharma reps come in, and when pharma reps come in and they bring lunch, I don't leave. I actually sit there and I listen to their presentation. And the reason I started doing that is because I know that doctors are used to a flow. And when I started watching pharma reps come in, they always had the same flow. They had a short video, then they had the features and benefits of their drug and, dosages, things like that. And then they had the costs and what types of patients these drugs, should be given to. They did that and then they left. Done. And I would stick around after the pharma rep left and I would see the interaction between the doctors and each other. They're like, oh, okay, so this patient, I can give it. And now the doctor's brains are running and now they're thinking about that drug that the pharma rep brought in. So I thought to myself, if I mimicked their presentation with our nutraceuticals, then maybe I could get the doctor's brains running in the same way that the pharma reps got the doctor's brains. And so I started to do lunch and learns this way. And the Dr. Deidre Mason videos are so important. Sometimes you can take, if you've gone to product symposium, you're given certain slides. Sometimes if these presentations are on audios, or you can see them, watch them over and over until you learn it like it's your presentation. And then I've worked with several NCs in the field that have had more maybe experience, whether it be with TLS or one particular isotonic, and we've used those types of presentations to do a lunch and learn. In your back office, unfranchised.com, for a TLS world, you have a whole bunch of stuff there. You have the detox presentation there. So if you're talking about TLS to your practice and you're talking about, hey, let's get these patients, working on you may want to do a lunch and learn on what a detox is and why it's important. Do you have to go out and create PowerPoint slides? No, guys, this is the Unfranchised. We have a system. What you have to go do is you have to learn what we have. You have to look for it in Unfranchised, in Unfranchised training, in Unfranchised media, on Meet-On, and after you've looked in all those places, then you can come to the official nutraMetrix group and you can post, hey, I'm doing a lunch and learn on this product and I've looked in these places for information and I can't seem to find anything. Do you guys have something that I could use for this lunch and learn? And then anybody could be able to help you out. But if you're building your Market America business and you're going for any challenge whatsoever, I always go after challenges even if I don't hit them. I can't tell you right now, I'm actually going for the President's Challenge and I'm getting close. But one of the things on there is audios. And I literally look through my unfranchised media. I'm like, I listen to this one, listen to that one. I don't want to listen to that one. Ooh, here are some audios on products. I'm going to listen to the CoQ10 so that I know why our CoQ10 in the oil is better than the competitor's CoQ10 that's a crystalline. Okay, so until you get this type of education, you won't be able to articulate, why we're better, why we do what we do, why we have the quality that we have, and why a doctor should care. At the end of the day, it's all about going back to that Simon Sinek and the why. Why should anybody care? Because you care about the well-being of the patients. You care about the success of the health professional. And once you can show them through being dedicated and being there when they need it, then it's going to work out just peachy for you. Okay? So with that, we'll go ahead and open it up to questions. And thank you for joining. So we have a question here. Can I repeat the website for the articles? Yes, it's pubmed.com. Pub as in P-U-B as in boy, med, M-E-D as in David.com. Okay, you go in there, they got everything in there. You just type in omegas, boom, a whole bunch of articles come up. You type in pygnogenal, a whole bunch of articles come up. If you're new and you go to the official nutraMetrix website, our support group, and you click on files, you'll see a whole list of articles that I've uploaded on there. Every time I find a good article that I think would be beneficial to you guys and I take it for my practices, I upload it for you guys, okay? Okay, great. So Linda just said, just returned back from Cherry Hill, New Jersey. Excellent, Linda. So as I said, this meet on right here is a lunch and learn. This is an implementation strategy one. So what you'll want to go ahead and do, Linda, is create your goals. Look on meet on. We have something that starts you at the very beginning with goals, goal setting. We have like initial contact, discovery meeting. Just go through all of those and you'll really feel like you can go ahead and charge and attack. I know with my meet-ons, I like to give you detail. My brain thinks in detail. I like to get down to the grain of here's what you're going to say and here's the response you're going to get and really just take you there because I just feel like when I first started as a new NC, I wish that somebody would have taken me there. So that's why I kind of feel like I don't know, it's my obligation to take you guys there. Okay, another question. So, in addition to the staff 1, 2, 3, would you think a lunch and learn might be good to put out to the staff in a different format? The vision of the HP for going with us. Yes, absolutely. So, when you first get started after the staff 1, 2, 3, you have certain products and you have certain components. Now, remember that in the staff 1, 2, 3, and if you go to one of the meet-ons I did, I think about implementation, you're going to prepare the vision and the mission of the health professional in that slide. So there's a tiny bit of customization that you should do to the staff 1, 2, 3, and that's really just one slide to say, here's this practice's mission and vision. And then when you get to the process with the little car driving to the building, if the doctor changes that process in any way, you need to change that graphics. For example, I have an account that the doctor said, no, I'm not going to register every single patient on the staff back office. I'm only going to register patients who order product. So if they're buying, they wanted to start with inventory. So they're going to register their patients. So in that practice, the flow goes, patient arrives in little car to the building, patient sees the doctor talks about the nutraMetrix product, patient walks, doctor hands them the intake form, patient fills it out, patient goes to the staff checks them out with the product and then registers the patient. So whatever the doctor feels comfortable with, that's what you got to teach the staff. This is why the implementation meeting is so important. Okay, so we have another question. Great. Okay, Tara and Tony, congrats. Yes, nutraMetrix is fun. You know, it's going to take you, it's a learning curve, but so is Market America. It's a lot of fun and you're really changing lives. So I love it. Any other questions? Has anybody been doing lunch and learn? So I know Charlene commented she has done them. Has anybody done a lunch and learn in any type of format whatsoever for their health professionals or their accounts? Oh, good. Okay, Bob has. And if you want to comment about how's it gone, how have you felt that it's helped your practice, I think that would be helpful for everybody too. One more thing I want to say about lunch and learns. So if you think of Market America and when you're building your business with Shop, it's kind of like having a wellness event. In the wellness event, you go out to unfranchise, you pull all the information about the wellness event. You have all the sheets, you have everything, and then it's a plug and play, right? You go and you do the wellness event, you play the video. Same thing here. Here, except the difference is that the video should always be the doctor because doctors relate to other doctors. And it's great for you to be like, okay, here's who Dr. Deidre Mason is, explain it to the doctor and then have them do the video. They're going to have questions. If they have questions that you cannot answer, that's okay. Say, that's a great question, doctor, I'm going to write this down and I'm going to get an answer for you. And then you're just going to go ahead and you can post a question on the official nutraMetrix group, or you can email the question to nutraMetrix@nutrametrix.com and they can get the answer for you. Okay, great. Tara and Tony have discovery meetings at this point. I highly recommend that you go watch the psychology of the discovery meeting. I take you through question by question, why it's asked and how it's going to help you to build that proposal and how it's going to help you answer objections as well. Great. So Bob's comment about the benefits of the lunch and learn is that it's helpful to get the staff on board. Sometimes they need to understand so that they don't look at any for additional work or anything. I think it also helps pique their interest as well. Yeah, I like it for the doctors. I think that you know, what my experience has been, I've had staff in certain practices that are more positive about nutraMetrix than the doctors, and they can only do so much. Like they can only talk to the patient so much, and the best way to get products moving is to make sure that the doctor has the buy-in, obviously by trying the products themselves. And the lunch and learn, I believe, is an implementation strategy that helps those doctors to buy into the system a little bit more because they're getting more educated. Okay, and then the other comment I wanted to make is that I've said this before. Brandy Murphy has said this before in breakout meetings. Keep this in mind, guys, especially for the senior NCs that have accounts and maybe those accounts have been a while. I'm sorry, those accounts have been around for a few years or so, and maybe you're not seeing the volumes like you'd like to see them. The lunch and learn could be a great opportunity to kind of ramp it back up. Like I said, I'm doing it because I'm trying to solve a problem in one of my accounts. It's that this product that I know they need, and they actually said we want something for surgeries, is really to help the patient and support the patients in recovery, is not going anywhere. So, it'll help with that. The other thing that we're finding by working in the field is that sometimes it does take the doctors 6 to 9 months or maybe more to get warmed up. Some very successful accounts, when you talk to them, they didn't do anything their first 18 months. So it's really interesting. Great. Wonderful, Janie. I'm glad it helped. Okay, any other questions? Oh, thank you, Bob. You guys keep me going too. As long as I know that I can help somebody and can help you deal with a problem or help you jump over a hurdle, that's why I do what I do. That's why I'm here in the corporate scenario. I just want you guys to feel like you can jump a hurdle that's been keeping you back, because I'll tell you, that's priceless. Once you can move on beyond that and gain your confidence, you guys will be unstoppable. And the doctors need us and the patients need us. And it's really just about doing it, learning your strengths and weaknesses. Forget about the fear. Maybe I should do a whole meet on fear, right? And then just move on, move past it. Yes, Linda, I'm have to be in St. Petersburg this week, and so I decided that I was not going to attend New Jersey. I've been flying back and forth to Mexico, so I was given a pass, I think, because of all my Mexico trips, and I just wanted to stay put for a little bit, so that's why I missed Jersey. But who knows? Maybe I'll see you in the next nutraMetrix training sometime. Okay, fantastic. Well, have a wonderful Tuesday, guys. Keep growing. And any questions you have, absolutely use the official nutraMetrix group, and we can get those answered for you. Have a great day.